things are not looking good for our southern mutants. Actually, now I think about it, I think only 2 of them are from the south. The rest are from different parts of the country or other countries entirely. Anyway, it's not looking good. My name is Dorian, this is SEM Comics. We continue our coverage of Uncanny X-Men with number 5. Our story starts off 6 months ago in Buffalo, New York, where Rogue is taking diction classes. So as I'm reading it, I'm thinking to myself, who is she doing this for? It can't be her husband, because she might be southern, and I think she's from like Mississippi, which they got a really strong southern drawl. But whew, that Cajun slang, man, I can barely understand what they write down as words for him, let alone if he was talking to me in real life. Like, look no further than Channing Tatum. Side note, let me know in the comments if you feel like Channing Tatum did enough to get his own movie. I feel like he did, but let me know in the comments. Now, why is she thinking back to this when she is getting her butt whipped by the hag? I have no clue, but that's what she did. Now, she knows she needs to move. She's telling herself to get up. But as soon as she raises her head, the hag is right there, and she's pretty much telling her that she likes her hair, and she would like to have her hair by taking off her scalp. She's telling herself to get up, and she's like, I can't. But then all of a sudden, she hears, can I help? So now we head back to the farmhouse. Wolverine and Gambit are standing there. Wolverine still has that bandage over his eyes, but his nose is working just fine. He goes, there's about 100, maybe 104, and whew, a few of them got the same STD. So Gambit's like, well, I guess that's helpful. Now, if you're sitting there and wondering, is Logan's nose really that good? Don't quote me on this. I don't remember what book it was. I really don't. But I do remember reading one time where they said that Wolverine can stand in a spot and he can tell you what cologne somebody was wearing that day a year ago. So Wolverine goes again and it's like, okay, whatever. I hope you brung an extra deck of cards. All of a sudden he reaches in his coat and he goes, Marcus' little girl had a deck of these cards that had all these monsters on it, like cartoon monsters. Might talk about Pokemon. Hell, he could be talking about Magic the Gathering. He could be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Who knows? He doesn't know none of that stuff. So then Death Dream is like, should we tell him those are brute force cards and how valuable they are? And the Speed Girl's like, maybe later. Because right now, he has other worries as they see that they are surrounded. But the kids gather themselves because they know they're going to have to help. And then Gambit goes, and that's all. Bust the line, X-Men. Let's go. And now we cut to the White Hot Room. It's not really the White Hot Room. It just looks like the White Hot Room. But it's not. Please don't be like, that's not the White Hot Room. I know. It's not the White Hot Room. So Rogue's like, where am I? And then she turns around and Harvey's standing behind her. Now, we don't know who Harvey is. For one, you need to go ahead and click on the playlist so you can catch up. But for the quick and dirty version, on the first issue, they visited this young kid who was a mutant, who was sick. He wound up dying right then and there, right in front of their eyes, and now he's back. Sort of. So Rogue's like, I know what this means. This means I'm dead, and you're going to walk me to whatever afterlife that I've earned for myself. And Harvey's like, you are dead. Unless you listen to me, you're all going to be dead. So back to the battle. Wolverine's doing his thing. The way he does is not very nice. Gambit's doing his thing. Jubilee's doing her thing. Nightcrawler turns to the kids and is like, look, if things go south, you need to run. And that's an order. So Ransom's like, don't you normally use a pirate sword? And Nightcrawler's like, I'm not a killer. I thought I was, but I'm not. You want to know what he's talking about? You gotta go all the way back to Krakoa Air to find that out. I covered the tail end of it, so you'll get partial of it, but not the whole thing. So anyway, the kids talk among themselves and they're like, alright, let's get into this battle. And the girl on a horse uses her powers, even though she says it's not a mutant. And all of a sudden, she goes, Ember Juggernaut. And I'm not gonna lie, her and her horse, they look pretty dope. So while her and her horse go smashing into all these dudes, the hag uses her telepathy and talks to the deer girl and tells her that she needs to be the one to take out the girl on the horse. She'll be there soon. She's just getting her hair done. So then Ransom is sitting there and is like, come on, kill me. I'm not gonna lie, I like his mask. So they oblige and they stick swords all up in him, but if you remember, he doesn't have a heart, and I guess he uses that energy, almost like Black Panther or Bishop or Sebastian Shaw. All the people pretty much scatter up energy, absorb it, and then send it back. And that's what he does with a punch. He sends it all back. So now back to Harvey and Rogue. Rogue's like, I thought Nightcrawler said you were like a lower level like mutant. And he goes, yeah, I kind of let that on, but really pretty powerful, as he shows that he can see far into the future, where you have somebody, a female who looks like Cyclops, you got Nightcrawler who has 4 arms, you have some robot dogs all over Colossus and he's laying in a pool of his own blood, and it looks like Professor Xavier is putting on the Magneto mask. I'm assuming that's Professor Xavier. It could be somebody else, but I'm gonna say that's Professor Xavier. And it shows all the young kids and a horse, and they're all dead. And then he explains to Rogue that when she visited him at the hospital, that he gave her a portion of his own power. That's why she was able to see Wolverine and see how much trouble he was in. 'Cause I'm thinking to myself, she never had that power before, but now it kind of makes sense. And the Hag realizes that Rogue's in some kind of other state because she's not responding to her. And she's like, are you talking to somebody else in there? I'm talking about her head. So back to the battlefield, Nightcrawler bamps and kicks somebody in the head. Then he bamps, kicks another person in the head. Then he bamps, kicks another person in the head. So now the whole battlefield smells like farts. And if you like when I say BAMF now smells like farts, you can buy a t-shirt or a hat or a mug. A lot of other things I have BAMF now smells like fart on them. Link to my store, it's in the description. Now Taekwondo Girl is Taekwondoing and all over these guys. And Death Dream, that fire looks scary. But then the Deer Girl takes out Ember Juggernaut. A deer. Took her out. And all these dudes with all these 20 swords are about to do something really bad to this girl, when all of a sudden Wolverine comes out of nowhere and does something far worse than what they were going to do to her. So Jubilee takes out Deer Girl. Taekwondo Girl isn't taekwondoing so much because now she's captured, and Jubilee's like, we're losing. Gambit, you need to do something. He's like, I know. Let me grab this stupid eye, because he has the other eye of Agamotto, but he's not a sorcerer, so he doesn't really know what to do with it. So he grabs the eye, he points at the battlefield and goes, please help my friends, even if it kills me. And all of a sudden the eye pops up and takes out everybody. So back to Rogue and Harvey. Rogue's like, look, I can't fight her. Her magic's too strong. And Harvey's like, look, Rogue, you can do anything. You're an X-Men. You're everything I wanted to be. But she's like, my arm is busted. Like, she popped that thing. So then Harvey goes, oh yeah, I also have a little bit of a healing factor. Now all I'm thinking to myself is, okay, so you trying to tell me that this boy probably could have lived a lot longer if he didn't share his power with Rogue? And Rogue like understands that now. So Rogue's like, I'm not gonna waste your gift. And her arm is healed because that thing was mangled. I mean, mangled. And then she goes, hello, Sarah. And Sarah's like, what the hell is going on? And Rogue kicked the bejesus out of her. So now Rogue is putting it on Sarah. And then she's like, oh yeah, by the way, I've been in your head too. And it's not what you say it is with Charles. And then we go to a flashback where Sarah and Charles are walking. And Charles is like, look, I know you're not pregnant. The reason why I know is because I have powers. And I know you're not. And then Sarah goes, but my son. And Rogue's like, yeah, you got pregnant almost a year after you stopped seeing him. But this girl has gone way past the crazy point. She doesn't care. She goes after Rogue. Rogue grabs her by her arms and then snaps her arms. Turns out it's always fair play, and the Hag is pretty much done for. So Rogue has one last moment with Harvey as he sees him off. Gambit lets Marquez and his family know that the coast is clear, they can come up now. Wolverine, for some reason, uses this exact moment to let Gambit know that he needs to talk to his wife and I guess be nicer to her or something, because he found out that she's taking diction classes, and he's like, I don't know why, because she's perfect. And I was thinking to myself, if anybody needs diction classes, it would be Gambit. So now we cut to a private airstrip in Louisiana where you got the heifer and her first in charge is waiting there. Rogue comes with the hag. Now you could tell Rogue is pissed off to the highest level of pissivity. And she's pretty much like, if you think about weaponizing this woman again, you're going to pay for it. Actually, I'm glad we're on the subject. Be good house guests, because that's our home. And when we want it back, we're going to take it back.
By any means necessary.